Vinny Tortorich here. Hey man, if you're a fan of Izzy, you might be a fan of me too. I'm the guy that gets people to lose a lot of weight. I have something free for you guys. This is no clickbait. Just go to vinnytortorich.com and there's a big banner. It's a free PDF, how to lose weight. It's an intro guide to NSNG at vinnytortorich.com. Go check it out exclusively for anyone who listens to Izzy Presley. Thank you.
Hi, this is Bobby Brown, and welcome to another fucking podcast.
You kids with your loud music and your Dan Fogelberg, your Zima, hula hoops, and Pac-Man video games, don't you see? People today have attention spans that can only be measured in nanoseconds.
See, son, old legends never die. They just lose weight.
Like a legend and an out-of-work bum with a lot of life.
Hello, you crazy dick fucker!
Party time! I've never heard of Van Halen.
Hello, Hollywood. Hello, world. And hello, my loyal minions. It is good to see you, and as always, good to be seen. Izzy Presley here on another fucking podcast, coming to you live via Memorex this week. Yes, no live show, and there's a simple reason for that. It's called Rent is Due. And Izzy needs to work so Izzy can pay the rent. And that's just as simple as that. So there you go. That's why we have no live show tonight. Make sure you hit up all of the social media at Real Izzy Presley all the way across the board, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And, of course, the show page is another effing podcast. And on that show page, there is a donate button. Actually, there is not a donate button. But I'm going to tell you how to donate to the show if you really enjoy what I do. Because I am going to let you in on a little secret. Yes, there are ads on this show. I'm going to let you in on a big secret. I don't make a dime off of those ads. No, I don't. Izzy, why do you have them on there? Because they give me free shit. Yeah, it's what we call a trade deal in the business. And it is what it is. So that's why I have as much merch as I possibly can have. And that's why every single week I say, hey, if you like what I do, the PayPal is izzypresley@yahoo.com. The Venmo is Real Izzy Presley. The CashApp is $Izzy Presley. I also accept large briefcases of cash delivered via carrier pigeon or smoke signal. Or if you're just driving by and you see me and go, oh, hey, Izzy, here's $100. You just throw it out the window and I catch it. It's that simple. But yes, that is why I do give those options out. I'm sorry to break your little bubble. Because I got called out. Somebody's like, dude, what a douche. You have 2 minutes, 5 minutes of ads, and then all of a sudden you have to ask us for money. No, I'm not asking you for money. I have never demanded that thou shalt pay. I have never demanded that thou shalt send me money. I've just said if you enjoy what I do and you would like to tip me for doing so, here is how you do it. Or you could buy merch. Because I have brand new merch available. And if you are looking at the cover of this show, you will see the new photo shoot. Me in the Izzy Presley yoga pants with the World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Championship called the Winged Eagle. Topless with my man boobs out. And there you go. So there you go. I have t-shirts of that available that are very, very cool. Thank you, Pharaoh Barrett, for helping with the design of that photo. I stole the idea from a friend's anniversary post, and I thought this would look much cooler with me half naked on it and my man tits hanging out. So t-shirts are available. Pillows. Yes, you can get me on a pillow. You can get me on a tapestry up to 100 inches big. It's big. You can get me on a shower curtain. You can get me on a fleece blanket. And yes, you can get me on a comforter. And we have sold a comforter. I did not set the prices for the comforter or the shower curtain. I submitted. They said, all right, boom, here they are. That's the price. I think I could edit it, but fuck it. Just going to leave it as it is. If you are wondering where the merch is featuring the disgustingly nasty but hilarious photo of me recreating the Shawn Michaels Playgirl photo with the belt covering my cock. I set everything up on Teespring and it was immediately rejected, not because of it looked disgusting. It's disgustingly hilarious. They said, and I quote, there is too much of a copyright infringement because of Shawn Michaels. And I said, if you, and I should have said it like this, even Stevie Wonder could look at this photo and realize that I am not Shawn Michaels. So I am going to figure out another way to get this image on posters, to get this image on beach towels. Oh yes, there is a beach towel of the other pose as well. So if you go to facebook.com/another effing podcast and click shop now, it takes you directly to the store where all of the merch is available. The ACK tribute to Ace Frehley, the podcast shirt. And yes, I'm sure there's a lot of people yelling right now. This is a 7-minute long commercial for his shit. No, it is not. I'm just saying that this is exactly what is going on right now at this moment. And why should you care? Why should you support? You do not have to. I'm just saying those options are there. Because, I love you guys. Speaking of you guys and how I love you guys. So, the 22nd of December, I believe it's Tuesday the 22nd, but whatever the Tuesday is before Christmas, I believe it's 22nd. I'm too lazy to look right now. That is going to be the Listener Drunken Summit. If you would like to be part of the Listener Drunken Summit, it is very, very simple. Drop me an email at the exact same email that is, yes, the PayPal email, izzypresley@yahoo.com. Tell me you would like to be part of it, and we'll see if we can get it figured out. I've got 2 slots taken so far. Probably maybe up to 5 more. And then I'm going to have 1 or 2 former guests to join us. One of those has already been confirmed, but we are going to wait. We are going to wait to announce that. So why am I recorded this week? I already told you that. So what are we doing this week? Well, I am diving into the archives. I am diving into the Rockin 101 archives. A lot of people may not know that I used to do drive time afternoons on Rockin 101 in St. Cloud, Minnesota. I also used to do a show called Under the Covers with Izzy Presley. And that's how I got into radio. And I have all the respect for everybody at Rockin 101 in the world for giving me the opportunity to get into what I did love. And I still do. And I don't think I ever would have done this if it hadn't been for that time at Rockin 101. I have found a bunch of the interviews that I did, and because of the new merch with the championship belt, the Winged Eagle, I have decided that I am going to pull out 2 interviews that I did on Rockin' 101. The first one is with an American hero. His name is James. He carries around a 2x4. Yes. Hacksaw Jim Duggan. And that will be followed by another American hero from Memphis, Tennessee. The greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, the Honky-Tonk Man. Yes, we go from a WWE Hall of Famer to the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time. The reason these interviews were done in the first place, Mr. Duggan was done to promote his book, which is still available, and I highly suggest that you get it. And we talk about that in the interview. And Honky was coming to town for a celebrity golf tournament. So if you're wondering about that, yeah, that was years ago. Don't. Because it's obviously not now. This was 2012? 2011? Something like that. But yes, I have uncovered a lot of interviews. So times like this, when I decide, oh, fuck it. You know, instead of, I don't have a guest and I don't want to sit and yap and get into shit that you guys don't want to hear about, why not pull out some of these long unheard interviews that have not been heard since, well, they aired on Rockin' 101. So here we are. We are going to play Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and then we'll take a short commercial break, and then you will hear the Honky-Tonk Man. It is another fucking podcast, and thank you to the great people at Rockin' 101 for allowing me to do this.
Rockin' 101 celebrating 30 years of rockin', ladies and gentlemen. Very special honor. On the phone with me, a multiple Slammy Award winner. The man's won belts, and he is an WWE Hall of Famer and now an author. Ladies and gentlemen, the immortal Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, Izzy. That was a great setup. Thank you. But, you know, the first thing Hacksaw has to do is give a big, ho, you know, kind of fires me up in the morning.
That is what I'm talking about. You know, actually, when I was a senior in high school, I drove a 77 Cougar XR7, and right in the back window, I had my foam Hacksaw Jim Duggan 2x4 right back there.
Cool. Yeah, it was a great time in the professional wrestling business. You know, it was kind of the golden age of wrestling.
Yeah, man, I grew up on all this. I grew up on AWA and then, you know, got into the WWF when that whole big thing hit. Now, when did you decide that you wanted to become an author?
Well, just recently, less than a year ago, the folks from Triumph Books contacted me, and I was like, are you guys sure? And they're
right.
like, yeah, you know, and I thought there's so many negative books out there, and of course the movie The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke.
Right.
There were so many negative outlooks on professional wrestling that I thought I wanted to tell a different side of the story. You know, I've been in wrestling for 33 years. I've been with my wife 28 of those years. My kids, one's finishing up her freshman year in college, and one's in high school. I live in my home. I pay my bills. I live a normal life. You know, guys like Tito Santana the same way. Hot Rod Roddy Piper. You know, people a lot of times think we're all destitute degenerates. You know, there's success stories in our profession also.
The book is called Hacksaw, the Jim Duggan Story. Now, is it available right now?
Sure, yep. Amazon and everywhere, right at most major bookstores. And, you know, they asked me for some titles, and I gave them 2 or 3, you know, like The Cycle of the Ring and Tough Life, Tough Guy. They're like, hey, we'll go with Hacksaw, the Jim Duggan Story, buddy. Yeah. So I listen to them. They know what they're talking about. So, but it was a lot of fun to do a book. I mean, go back and think about some of the, you know, the things that have happened over 33 years. And in the 33 years, you know, that's why I like giving the NFL the business.
Right,
like,
right.
World champions. You guys been to Japan, Australia.
Right.
They're like, well, we've been to Europe.
Right,
I'm
exactly.
like, yeah, that's like going to the West Coast. Come on, Europe.
Now, who's the hardest you've ever hit with that 2x4?
Oh, probably Andre the Giant one time, man. I definitely hit him way too hard because he got very angry at me.
Was that the time that you laid him out?
No, that was another time where Andre actually did me the favor and put me over on television where I ran down and challenged him, and when he went to grab me, his thumb hit my lip.
Right.
Almost tore my lip off, so I was covered in blood. But bottom line, I hit him with a 2x4. We went off the air with Andre the Giant laying there, me standing over him covered in blood with a 2x4 over my head. Oh! You know, it just elevated me to a main event guy, and that was a favor from Andre.
Now, I saw the Ultimate Warrior DVD, and they're talking about when Ultimate pissed off Andre because he'd hit him too hard. Did you ever piss off Andre?
Never really bad. I think I had a good relationship with Andre. I've known him, back when I first started wrestling. I first started off as Big Jim Duggan with short hair and clean shaven, and a long gold bathrobe. And Arnie Skolin, one of the WWE guys, calls me in the office. He's like, well, back then it was the WWF, the 3W Vince McMahon Sr. And they're like, kid, you might have a future, but come up with something better than Big Jim and get rid of that gold bathrobe. So then I became the convict, and I wore a mask, and that didn't work. And then I tried Wild Man Duggan, and that didn't work. And then I evolved into Hacksaw. So out of 33 years, I've been Hacksaw, probably 28 of them.
Now, you do, in the book, there's a chapter dedicated to some of the wrestlers who have fallen over the years. Is there any particular death that kind of hit you the hardest?
Well, sure. Two in particular, my two best friends. I mean, and of course, I talk about it in the book. And then, of course, I had a horrible accident where my girlfriend was killed back in Louisiana, and then my two best friends. So death has been around. And of course, me being a cancer survivor. And I think that also gives me a whole different perspective, of life in general. When your two best friends, and that was Terry Gordy, Bam Bam, Gordy of the Freebirds, and his was drug related. But then my other best friend was Dr. Death Steve Williams, and he died of throat cancer.
It's pretty sad, to see some of these drug stories that have been coming out, over the years, and relating to these deaths. And then you look at like a Scott Hall and a Jake Roberts. Is there any like light at the end of the tunnel for these two? Because especially, you see the thing on the thing on ESPN about the Scott Hall situation, and then all the stuff that you've seen about Jake. Is there any light at the tunnel for these guys?
Well, I always joke about both those guys. I said there'll be a nuclear war. There'll be 6 cockroaches and Jake and Scott Hall left. They'll outlive us all, even though they got that bizarre lifestyle. But Jake, I think so. I think I saw Jake a couple of weeks ago up in Calgary at a Comic-Con convention. It was me, Jake, Honky-Tonk Man, and Ted DiBiase. So there was some BS going on that night at the bar.
Oh, yeah.
But Jake's doing better. Now, Scott Hall, he's the Mickey Rourke story there in the wrestling. And that's what a lot of people see in our business, and that's what gets publicized.
Right.
That's part of the deal with the book. Hey, that we're not all like that. I mean, there's a lot of guys that have enjoyed this business, in the 33 years I've wrestled all over the world, all over the country. It's been an amazing ride.
Now, this year at WrestleMania, Rock Cena was billed as the biggest match of all time. I disagree with that. I thought Undertaker and Triple H was actually even a bigger match because that was the end of an era. Can you put a finger on the biggest match of all time?
Yeah, I think I agree with you, but I think they kind of stole it. I think it was billed as Rock Cena. And, of course, The Rock coming out of Hollywood, and John Cena, who is a true gentleman in our profession. I mean, an extremely hard worker and actually a class act guy. But that was definitely the main event. But Undertaker and Triple H stole the show.
All right, I'll give you one more question, then I'll let you go because I know you got a lot of stuff to do today. So I was reading about a reality show called WWE Legends of the House. What is the status of that?
I think they're still editing it. Yes, it was called Legend House.
Oh, Legend House, sorry.
Yeah, they put 8 of us in a house out in California. So, I'm so far out of the loop, I don't know. But it was a great month we had out in California. No TV, no cell phone, no newspaper, no radio, and no computer. So you were forced to interact. So let me tell you something about that Tony Atlas.
I tell you what, though, I was kind of disappointed because I follow I follow the Iron Sheik on Twitter, so I see what he's like. And, I've interviewed Honky Tonk also, and I was kind of disappointed that those two weren't included in the cast.
Well, I think, it was it was definitely a big call to get that call to be able to be part of it. I mean, it was a huge production, and of course, it was an honor to even be considered, and then actually get one of the few spots that were there. But
right.
There's a lot of guys they thought should have been there. But just to give you a heads up on Twitter, a lot of folks go, Hacksaw, I really enjoy you on Twitter. I'm like, that's not me.
Oh.
So be careful who you're talking to out there. I still got the old flip phone.
Nice. Well, thank you so much for your time. The book is called Hacksaw, the Jim Duggan Story, is available now at bookstores and Amazon.com. Get out there and get it. Right, ladies and gentlemen, WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
There you go. That is the great Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Now we will take a short break. Be right back with the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, the Honky-Tonk Man.
If you need to promote your band or business, or just want to stylize, personalize, or customize your ride, check out vid-decals.com. Want to create and customize your own stickers representing your band, or make your own bumper sticker? Vid Decals can do it. All stickers are printed on quality vinyl and can be placed on any flat surface. Stickers are an affordable way to promote your band or business. Go to vid-decals.com to get started. That's vid-decals.com. vid-decals.com.
RockstarLeatherworks.com is your home for badass rock and roll gear. Featuring 100% handmade leather bands, watches, cuffs, bracelets, and more, Rockstar Leatherworks has something for everybody. Whether you are going to the show or you are in it, you can find something to fit your needs. Choose from a variety of designs or create your own masterpiece. Their bands and watches are second to none. They also ship internationally. Who needs a stage to be a rock star? Check out RockstarLeatherworks.com.
Hey ladies, Sass Pants Designs will take that band shirt that everyone has and make it your own in a flattering, sassy, and simple way. There are one-of-a-kind tank tops, halter tops, lace-up tees, and tube-top dresses already in stock. Check out the online store at sasspantsrocks.com and like Sass Pants Designs on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter for special offers and custom orders. Use the code IZZY25 for 25% off of your entire order at sasspantsrocks.com. That's sasspantsrocks.com. Let Sass Pants make you the envy of the party.
Rockwood Saloon Authentic Apparel takes rock and roll fashion to a new level with their tees and tanks for men and women. They also make custom shirts, jackets, vests, pants, hoodies, beanies, and more. The Rockwood Graphics Department can design anything from your logo, t-shirt design, promo posters, band swag, and printed at great prices. From tour shirts and custom stage gear to killer threads for the street to the stage, Rockwood Saloon has it all. Rockwood Saloon, authentic rock and roll apparel for stage and street. World Tour tested for quality, comfort, style, and durability. Check them out at www.rockwoodsaloon.com. That's rockwoodsaloon.com.
Hi, this is Gilbert Gottfried, and you're listening to another effing podcast. Who's coming up with these podcasts? Does anybody care? No, I don't. Go fuck yourself. Yes, Flask. Choose.
Hey, this is Izzy Presley with Rockin' 101, and ladies and gentlemen, a true honor, I have the immortal, the greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time, the Honky-Tonk Man on the line. How are you doing today?
Thank you very much. Izzy, the Honky-Tonk Man. Izzy Presley, it's good to talk to you.
It's good to talk to you too, man. I'm going to start this off. Do you pay attention to what's going on currently?
I have to because of my blog talk radio show that I do every Thursday live, and I keep up with it just by the internet stuff, not by I just cannot sit down and sit through. I don't even know what time the shows come on out here in Phoenix. So it's something I don't devote my Monday night or my Thursday night to, but I do keep up with the current product.
All you really got to do is watch the beginning and the end.
Yeah, and I can get all the news briefs off the internet, other sources, and find out what's going on.
All right. What I was going with that is, if you've been paying attention to, what was going on with CM Punk, up and, before SummerSlam and, what they're doing with now, I just want to get your opinion on that.
It was started out, I thought it was a very good way they were doing it and building it up that his contract was over, he's not going to re-sign and all this. And that part of it was done perfectly. And then they come right back after the SummerSlam and go on to Monday Night Raw, and here's the guy's back now, and it's like, okay, at least I think maybe if he would have split and been gone for 3 months out of sight somewhere and said, I'm keeping the belt, and, let it run its course a little bit the way they planned it, but they turned around and dropped the ball on it the following night.
Mm-hmm. Well, that happens a lot, too, because they don't have any competition.
Yeah, and, it's too bad that it's a television product now. Izzy is more than it is a wrestling show, and they're constantly monitoring every 5 minutes of ratings so that they know what every segment does and how each person does on every segment. It's turned into just a television show.
It's funny that you bring up that, it's not a wrestling show anymore, because I was just watching the other night the history of the evolution of the AWA, the DVD that the WWE put out. And, watching that, and they're talking about all these guys that were trained by Gagne and trained by Stu Hart and how they were like, real wrestlers. And nowadays, it's sports entertainers, yada, yada, yada. Do you think that's something that that the art form of wrestling is missing in the product today?
It's totally gone. I mean, it's been a slow, gradual, I'd say, an ending to that, because it really started with this hardcore division, hardcore wrestling type stuff, where guys didn't have to know anything about wrestling, where all they had to do was hit somebody with a frying pan or a baseball bat wrapped with barbed wire, and now the product has gone. They stopped doing all that because they wanted to be a PG product, and now the guys are all cookie cutters. They look the same. They have the same tan bodies, and they're all tattooed. Nothing against the tattooed people, but I mean, if every guy out there is all tattooed all over, it's like, man, these guys all been in prison or what? Jimmy Hart, I laugh about that, but I mean, that's something too with just our society has changed, where body art was something that only bikers and somebody who might have been in jail had. But nowadays that's changed. But nothing against people that have tattoos. Please don't write me about that.
I've got a couple myself, and I got an Elvis one coming on the way, actually. So,
but anyway, that's what I'm saying. The wrestling business tends to follow along with the way society goes, and right now society's on the cutting edge of everything, and the wrestling business also. But there again, like you said, when you look back at the Vern Gagne fellas and the Stu Hart guys and the people that came from down in Tennessee and Georgia where I was trained, it's not even the same product.
Right. Who did train you?
I was trained by the Welch family, Herb Welch, which was the Fullers. The Robert and Ron Fuller, the Buddy Fuller, and they owned, the Welches owned or had their hand in everything from Indianapolis down to the Gulf Coast, all the way through Florida. They were part of all of those offices.
Okay, and I wanted to get into your Honky-Tonk Man gimmick. Now, was that something that you came up with Vince, or was that something you were working on beforehand? And is it because you're an Elvis geek like me?
I was really not into I was more into the Beatles and the Rolling Stones. I lived in Memphis. I grew up in Memphis and went to college there and had a truck route that ran every day right in front of Elvis's house.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we'd go out to the bars at nighttime and Elvis's motorcade would pass through, or, some of the guys would hang out in the same places that hung out with Elvis. And it was one of those things where when you live there and it's like having a football or a baseball team in your city that's terrible, but you keep having to watch it on TV. not to say that Elvis was terrible by any means, but his songs were always on the radio. His movies were always on local TV. It was like, come on, give us something else, would you?
Right.
But no, the getting back to the Elvis persona, it was. I mean, some wrestling fans. I had pork chop sideburns back then. I had dyed my hair from blonde back to black, and they said, have you ever thought about doing this Elvis thing? I said, no, I never have. And they showed up the next week. The girls did, and had the lady measure me, and we're going to make you something. The next week it was a gold lame jumpsuit.
Oh, that's awesome. Do you still have it?
And that's how it started. No, I don't have it anymore. I don't. The ones you see on TV, I only have like 3 of those left, and this was all before eBay or the internet. So once they were, once they started looking worn and tattered, I kind of disposed of them.
All right.
I wish I had not have done that, but
right, for sure, you could make some bank off that nowadays if you wanted to.
Well, yeah, but that's how that persona started, and then from there, I just kind of let it build on its own. I mean, it created its own. It created itself, really.
I want to touch on the SummerSlam match with the Ultimate Warrior, and how far in advance did you know that's how that was going to go down?
6 months.
Oh, really?
We had made the decision had been made that someone had to take the torch from Hogan, because Hogan was given a notice that he wanted to go to Hollywood and make movies and all this, and back then the catalyst to that particular belt, especially as hot as I had it at the time, which I'm saying hot meaning selling out everywhere. The person that finally took the belt from me would automatically be a success. And that's what happened with this Warrior. And 6 months later, then he became the world's champion, I think it was.
Do you think that belts change hands too often nowadays?
Oh gosh, yes. No one even knows who a champion is, or even if it means anything. There's so many. And as far as the Intercontinental title now, they've diminished it and the tag team titles.
Right.
I mean, unless you're I don't even know how many champions they have. WWE champion, the WWE World's champion, and I don't know.
Yeah, I know. It just gets ridiculous to me. It's like, Cena's won it, 10, 11 times, in 10 years, or however long he's been around. It took Ric Flair, 30 years to win it 16 times. I think it's a little ridiculous.
Yeah, and, Hogan had the belt for 10 years straight without losing it, and Bruno had it for 8 or 10 years without losing it, and it's the prestige of the drawing power. And mind you, I'll put it this way. They have to, the business right now is lacking in main event star power. And I think they move these belts around hoping that someone will catch on. And if they don't catch on right away, the belt moves on to somebody else. But for somebody to have it for 1 day is ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you think is your defining match?
Well, it had to be, of course, getting the opportunity to face Steamboat and then winning the Intercontinental Championship. It catapulted me from, mid-card, upper mid-card to main event status, which, greatly enhanced my pocketbook. A lot of people look at this as something young boys or young kids or girls just want to go out and do. Wrestling is a business for me, and it always has been.
Yeah, absolutely. Once again, I'm on the phone with the Honky-Tonk Man calling in from Arizona, right?
Phoenix, Arizona. It's going to set another record today. Yesterday was 115. They think it might go 116 today.
Yeah, but you know what? Living up here, we never complain about the heat because it's cold for 9 months. So,
yeah, I know. All you guys move down here and come down here and just ruin our city.
Hey, I'm going to be one of those guys. Watch out. What do you think's the greatest match you've ever seen?
Oh gosh, I've seen so many. It's hard for me to say, and people ask me what's the some of the best matches I've ever been in myself. And it's hard to say because each one was so uniquely different,
right.
whether it be with Macho Man Randy Savage, or whether it be with Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, or Jake the Snake Roberts, or Hulk Hogan. But to watch someone like a Harley Race or Nick Bockwinkel, who were, well, I call them ring technicians, who could go with any person that you put them with, and they could go out and have a fantastic match.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, growing up watching the AWA, it's, watching Bockwinkel, and he's another one of those guys that held on to that belt for a long time, and he made everybody look great. And he was so good on the mic, and that's another thing that I think is lacking in today's day and age of wrestling is its mic skills.
Well, I'm going to tell you why. Because it's, as I mentioned earlier, it being a television show, everything now is scripted, and they go out at 2 o'clock, I think it is, or 2:30 in the afternoon. They go through, they have a walkthrough of the whole show. Every piece of verbiage is being read off of a sheet of paper that's been handed to those fellas. Mm-hmm. They have to go back then and memorize it, and then when the show starts, they have to go out and deliver that verbiage.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame. It takes the fun out of it.
It takes creativity away. Is what it does.
Yeah, absolutely.
It doesn't. They're given. Of course, Triple H he's the heir apparent to the company, so he can go out and say what he wants without he can drift off the storyline or off of the script, and they're letting this CM Punk drift away from the script and be more of himself, which I think is a good thing. Mm-hmm.
I agree. All right, brother, I got one more question for you before I let you go. So this is a golf tournament, then the wrestling. Are you going to be out there golfing?
I've thought about it. I haven't really picked the club up since I almost lost my right index finger in that stupid guitar stunt. And then 6 months ago, someone stole my clubs out of my garage. Now, that's something else you got to be. Yes, down here in Phoenix, you got to be careful. If you leave your garage door up for 5 minutes, somebody will drive along in a pickup truck, grab your stuff, and away they go.
Oh, that's a shame. It's an absolute shame.
I am going to be part of the tournament, but I don't know if I'll be playing. I haven't decided that part. I know they want a team Honky, so maybe there'll be a team Honky-Tonk Man.
Well, I tell you what, if there's a team Honky-Tonk Man, I want in. That's all I got to say.
I tell you what, there's one thing, and I was talking to John Bradshaw Layfield on my radio show the other night, and he plays golf all the time. And for us people who think we're real athletes, that when they say on that golf commercial, these guys are good, they should say all these guys are good.
Oh, I agree. It's the most stressful thing in the world because I am terrible. I'm lucky to break 100. All right, man. Thank you, Honky. It's been a true honor. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you on the 4th.
I'll be there, man. Thanks, Izzy.
Thank you.
And there you go. The Honky-Tonk Man. WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Ho! Fucking great to relive those. Great to hear those again. Okay, you guys know what to do. All of the social media at Real Izzy Presley, all the way across the board. Twitter, Instagram, the Facebook, and of course, the show page, Another Effing Podcast on Facebook. Make sure you follow on Spreaker. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube. You know the drill. Tell your friends, you two girls, you on the bicycle. It's ladies' night tonight at the Hotel Palace Hotel Ballroom, Lake Wanapamani. Wanapamani? Is that what it was? Something like that. Anyways, we'll be back next week. I'll probably have a guest. And happy holidays, everybody. Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, Festivus, whatever you like. And don't forget your pal Izzy when it comes to the presents. Don't forget what I lack in talent, make up for in cock. See you next week, everybody.